Hi guys, Tony here with a new lesson. Today we're going to be looking at some bluesy, funky stuff. I'm going to share with you a way that you can use some funky chords, the pentatonic scale, and mash them together to create some funky goodness. Alright, so let's zoom in and I'll break it down. Okay, so we're going to be playing a 12-bar blues in the key of G. Alright, so the three chords we'll be using for that, right? We've got a G minor 7, a C minor 7, and a D minor 7, alright? But the way we're going to play those chords is in a Hendrixy kind of way, alright? So that means that we're going to be using our first finger and our thumb to play that chord, alright? Now, this takes a little bit of practice, but it's definitely worth doing. The reason that the likes of Jimi Hendrix and John Mayer and John Frusciante play guitar this way is because it frees up their other fingers to do some other funky stuff, alright? So, what we're going to do is we're going to bar the 3rd fret, the bottom 4 strings with our index finger, and we're going to bring our thumb up to the low E string and cover that. Now, our thumb normally, naturally, for me anyway, naturally mutes the A string, which we want to do, because if you look at a G minor 7 here, right? Every string we're playing is on the 3rd fret apart from the A string, right? So these strings and the low E string are all on that chord. Okay, so if you can do that, then it frees up our other fingers to do some cool stuff. So I'm going to get into that, okay? But first we're going to look at the chord progression and the chords, and then we'll go on from there. So we're going to play 4 bars in G. Okay, now the rhythm I want us to use, I want us to get a bass note, right, like this. And then Alright, so 4 bars in G. Right, and make sure you are getting all those strings ringing out. Alright, this will be a little bit difficult if you've never done it before. You know, it might be difficult for your hands, but just continue to persevere, and like everything else with guitar, it gets easier, right? So we're going to do 4 bars in G, then 2 bars in C, which is the same shape on the 8th fret. Right, and then back down for 2 bars in G. 2. And then 1 bar in D, which is the 10th fret, same shape. C for 1 bar, and then G for 2 bars. Alright, now make sure you get that before moving on to the next part. So the cool thing about using these chords, right, is that it's very easy to turn our guitar into a percussive instrument, alright, because if you release the pressure, we mute the strings, right? Alright, so we're keeping that same strumming, so what I want you to do is to release the pressure from your fingers, right? So your fingers are still covering the strings, and strum it. Right, make sure you're not getting any tone coming out of the strings, and once you can do that, you want to then apply the pressure to the notes that you want to hear, right? So we want to hear dum bum the bass, right? Dum. Alright, so just that, it's very subtle, but hopefully you can hear what I'm doing and pick it up that way. Alright, so that is the rhythm part. Alright, so make sure you get that down before moving on to the next part. So the main benefit of playing chords like this is the fact that we have our other fingers to our disposal. Alright, so what notes can we play? I'm glad you asked, because we've got shape 1 of the pentatonic scale at our disposal there, right? And when we're playing a C, guess what? And when we're playing D, shape number 1, alright? All those notes will sound fine to play when we're jamming, okay? So, of course, there is an infinite amount of licks that you will be able to play, but today we're going to focus on just 2 licks to help you get the hang of it and for you to practice, and they sound pretty cool. But anyways, we're going to be looking at the first lick, which is this. Alright, okay, so basically we're keeping our first finger where it is, and we're hammering on and pulling off on the G string on the 3rd fret. Coming back to the D on the 5th fret, and then back to the G on the 3rd fret, right? And I actually strum it. You can afford to be a little bit messy with it as well. It gives it a cool kind of roughness, and you know, if you hit other strings, you know, it still sounds kind of good. You get that double stop kind of feeling anyway, because all the notes sound good. So that's the first lick. Okay, now lick number 2 goes like this. Now we're actually sliding into shape number 2 here. I'm sliding up to 7, my 3rd finger, middle finger on 6, 3rd finger back from 7 to 5, and then to 3 here. Alright, so the rhythm part, dum, da, 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 and then the lick. Alright, so let's try them together. Right, now the 4th time, after the 4th bar I'm going to be going into C, right? So what I could do, now what I'm doing here, if I have to play the C, to say this same lick, I'll be 12 and 11, but I can actually use that to transition into the C chord. Okay? Then into my C chord, same lick, and back to G. Now you don't need to do the same, like you can mix and match as yourself. You can even come up with your own stuff. Something like that. Okay, again, limits are, or sorry, your options are limitless. Then we come up to the D, and we could do the same like we could do, and then the C, and then back to your G. And then when we come to the last bar, what we really want to do is finish on the D note, which is here. So we could just work our way up the scale. This is the blues note there. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling funky after that lesson. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more lessons like this, please let me know. Alright guys, take it easy, and I'll see you soon with a new lesson.